you sustained a back injury recently and are concerned about what exercises you should and shouldn't do?
Are you wanting to get back to your regular exercise routine but are scared that it might make your back pain worse?
Well, stay tuned because in this video you will learn our top 3 low back exercises to avoid after an injury.
So don't forget to hit the subscribe button or the bell icon to be notified anytime we post a new video. Hi, I'm Dr. Joshua Nikkanen.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kristina Turkewitsch, and we're chiropractors in Newmarket, Ontario, Canada.
Now let's get into the video.
Now, back pain, whether it's old or new, can really cramp your style, right? And especially if you are an active person or are used to a certain level of activity. Even if you have found yourself with a new injury or a flare-up of an old back injury, you can still stay active, which is awesome. The key really is knowing which exercises are safe and which you should avoid.
Whether you should work out if your back hurts after an injury really depends on several factors. Number 1, what's causing the back pain, how active you were prior or leading up to the onset of the back pain, and how your pain symptoms are when it occurs, where it is, and for how long it's been there for.
Unless your back pain is caused by a severe condition, so something like a fracture, right, which is pretty intense.
Very serious.
Most low-intensity cardio and weight training activities can actually help manage your back pain.
Most importantly, if you are still mobile, make sure that you don't stay completely sedentary, even with a tight low back. Inactivity can actually worsen the back pain. You shouldn't necessarily stop the fitness program or the fitness routine altogether, just out of fear, but instead you want to keep your activity levels light but steady.
Now, if you find yourself with an acute or chronic low back issue, it would be a good idea to get checked by a chiropractor, right?
Absolutely.
Especially before continuing with any exercise program that you have. Once you've been approved by your chiropractor to exercise with the back pain that you have or with the injury that you have, they'll be able to tell you and give you guidance as to which exercises to use, and that'll be safe for you and your back. Otherwise, these exercises that we will go through to avoid are just a good rule of thumb to follow.
So let's get into our top 3 back exercises to avoid after injury. So number 1, lifting objects overhead or heavy weight lifting. So that really causes a lot of strain in your core and on the back muscles. So you want to make sure you limit that because anything that's more than what your body can handle, your body will actually tighten up. So you want to avoid that. So no lifting heavy objects overhead.
None.
Or lifting heavy objects, period.
Exactly. Now, number 2, or tip number 2, are extension exercises or hyperextension exercises for the low back where you're extending a lot. So things like squats, right? So when you're going down to a squat, you have to keep your back kind of in a bit of an arch, and you want to avoid that for sure because it's going to put a lot of stress and strain and actually make your muscles and your joints and everything work a lot harder than we want them to, especially with back pain or injury. So we really need to minimize that. So any other back extensions, exercises, especially that machine at the gym.
Yes.
I see it all the time. The machine at the gym where you're
sitting back there. Exactly.
You have your pelvis stable and you're extending over it with a weight or something like that. Please do not do that. It's horrible for your back.
Number 3 would be bending over. So repeatedly bending over, touching the toes, being flexed, doing rowing, or if you're at the gym, you see the people doing the squat machines, they're flexed and they're pushing the big weights with their feet. Those are things to completely avoid. That puts a lot of strain because when you're flexed and when you add some rotation, you're really straining that disc, and that's when it actually is most vulnerable to to actually re-injure it
weakest,
or to strain the disc even more. So you want to completely avoid that.
So as a bonus, Dr. Josh has a couple of exercises or things that he's seen, and I've kind of seen them as well, but you definitely want to stay away from after back injury. So go for it, Josh.
So you would think, because as chiropractors we see a lot of people with back pain and who've injured their backs, that the biggest cause of injury would be something like I don't know, skydiving or
something really extreme.
Something extreme.
Right? Yeah.
But it's often the small little things that actually cause the most injury. I've had more patients with excruciating pain and problems from vacuuming their rugs or the most dangerous sport, bowling. So bowling and vacuuming seem to be too, and it makes sense too because if you look at bowling, what are you doing? You're lifting a heavy object over your weight, so you're actually putting strain on your body. You're extending your back as you go in your recoil, and then you're flexing forward and you're rotating. So you're basically doing 1, 2, and number 3 with
all
bowling.
three.
All three, and no, that's
avoid
it. And so that's why that one is so damaging and causes so many problems.
Yeah.
And for vacuuming, it's the same sort of thing because you don't really think about it. Most people, when they vacuum, they don't just. I always call it when you see farmers, they get their crops, they go in straight lines. People don't vacuum like that. They vacuum here, there, and everywhere, right? Yeah. And so, they're in a rush, so they bend over quick, and they're like, oh, I forgot that spot over there, so they'll flex and then rotate. And then they'll flex and then rotate. And things like that. And it's that bending, flexing, rotating. So you're doing number 2, you're doing number 3, and you're doing a little bit number 1, 2 as well. So it combines all those 3 different exercises in one. So definitely avoid.
So anything that is overloading the body and making it work hard to keep the spine stable should be avoided.
Absolutely.
Because they're just going to lead to a worsening of the injury. So just stay away.
So what we're talking about is actually supported by research, because research has shown that the one worst thing that you can do when you have a back pain is bed rest. And what's the number one treatment most people seek when they hurt their back? Is being sedentary. So that just proves it. Being sedentary, not moving, is not a good thing. So just like we said before, you need to avoid those 3 exercises, but you still want to do light movements and activity.
Light, steady exercises and activity, not really stressful in any extreme way, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there you have it. Those are the 3 low back exercises to avoid after an injury. Now, we just want to thank you guys so much for watching the video today. If you could please go and head on down to our subscribe button and click that, that would be awesome. We'd really appreciate it. And if you could like and share this video as well, that would be fantastic. Share it with anybody you feel could benefit, family members, friends, anybody. Maybe reshare on social media, that'd be fantastic. And of course, leave us a comment. So how, our exercise, there are other exercises that you avoid when you're injured, or how do you cope with your injuries? Just let us know in the comments below, or if you have any other questions, for sure.
Awesome.
Yay! So thank you again so much for watching, and we're gonna see you on the next video.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.